Asa-Punk, Asa-Punk, he's not radioactive, he's Asa-Punk in 2020. Listen, folks. Okay, so the unwrapping of the tie on the sword in the bag. Okay, so there, the magic of editing. We have clearly a katana. Is a katana a sword? Well, if you watch my videos, you know that a katana is in the umbrella term, under the umbrella term sword. It is a sword in that swords are hilted cutting weapons. However, it is not in the sword family proper, as it does not descend from the Viking sphere. Not the greatest casting, pretty muddy, but that will become obvious later. Anybody guess what it is yet? I mean, apart from a katana. It actually is. They advertise real Ray, and I would have to say I don't have a whole lot of experience with Ray skin, but it feels like it's real. It doesn't feel synthetic. These pegs are peg-thetic. Though, that one especially is kind of loose. This one's actually pretty loose. I'm going to have to make another one. I can press it through like that. And it was too wide. But this one, there it is. It stays in very well. In fact, it's hard to get out. So, whatever. But one reason I got this katana, it had the Musashi guard. Is the Musashi guard required? No. This is a very simplistic, undecorated utilitarian guard, as opposed to many that are highly decorated. So I didn't like the simple, clean lines. Being from a European sword background rather than Asian. Why I picked this particular katana, apart from cost and the guard, is the fact that many Japanese swords at a glance look very similar, especially to the untrained eye. So the decorations, especially on the Tsuba, can make them differentiate, but still, I wanted the simple guard. So this may give away what it is, but the saya is, I don't know if that's going to show the rate very well on camera in terms of color, because, well, that looks a lot more brownish red than it actually is. It's actually very deep blood red color, and which is pretty nice. It is a little rattly, so we'll have to forget it. Is this called a sageo? I don't remember. I don't know Japanese sword terms that well, but it is very loose. I don't know how to retile this fancy stuff, so it's just going to remain loose because I'm not going to mess with it. The scabbard itself, it fits, but it is, it'll slide out. As you can tell, it comes in and out pretty easy, but it's, as many commercial swords in this price range are definitely not fitted. Like, they don't make the scabbards to fit the sword. So you can see there's a gap between the manuki. Is that the, no, there's a manuki. What is this thing called? Habaki. Between the habaki and the scabbard, there's room to shim it. So I will probably do that. According to the company, it's actually clay tempered, but it's also made from a single piece of steel. It's not folded or multiple steel types. So it's one piece of steel, differentially hardened, I suppose. I don't know how hard offhand, but I can tell you in a second. Let me do another amazing edit. Okay, so this being the second katana I've ever owned. The first one I owned, I regret selling. I bought it used at the museum replica clearance sale, and it was at a time I knew jack squat about Japanese swords and how they were supposed to perform and stuff. And it probably was a better sword than I realized. As for this sword I have here, if you haven't guessed by now, it is one of these. What is this? I don't know. I can't read it. I don't even know if that says what it is. It may say Welcome to Burger King for all I know. I think that's recognizable. That's pie. No, just kidding. I don't know kanji at all. So instead, I'll just let you look at this still picture that shows what the sword is and all. Yeah, just take a look. Probably read all this by now, even the parts in kanji that I cannot read. Okay, all right, you done? Can we move on? Okay, we're back. So here it is. Oh, it's more blood red this way, doesn't it? Maybe, but here, side to side, a little rattle, up and down a little bit. Like I said, I think on Cultivina, it's like $129. So not obviously super expensive, but Very solid. No rattle in the grip. Really, when you slap it, there's almost no vibration. It's very stiff. It actually has a good amount of distal taper from here to here. Maybe we can tell across here. Can we see it, folks? Maybe. I'll do it close up in a sec. I haven't cut anything with it yet, so this may loosen up, but I did take it apart earlier just to see, since it does have pegs and seems to be disassemblable. It is, and it was very difficult to get apart. This Suka is fit very tightly. I had to essentially take a, well, I took a pair of pliers with rubber handles because I couldn't find my rubber mallet and had to knock it off, and it took a good bit of effort to get it off. So it's pretty solid. As far as the wrap, it's fairly tight. There are some, obviously, at this price range, these diamonds, I was going to say rectangles, diamonds are all over the place with their shape, not very consistent. But again, this is kind of my starter into Japanese swords. Very lively in the hand. I mean, even one-handed, it's quite maneuverable. I would say it's lighter than some arming swords. Feels lighter in the hand than my Viking Svirth. Of course, it is a shorter blade too, but very well balanced, I think, for what it is. And I do like it. Like I said, the scabbard is partly what sold me, because it's the blood red is just brilliant. I wish it would show better on camera, but nonetheless, it's different than the typical black glossy that most swords have, and it just kind of pops out a bit, you know. So after seeing the reviews that Matthew Jensen did of Musashi and some other people, certainly it's not obviously the best or highest end sword, but I think it is a decent beginning point, and as long as I'm not doing incredibly stupid shit with it, it should be just fine. But I do plan to do a video soon, probably not till 2021, because I'm going to go to Bamboo Grove and hopefully cut some shit down with this. Make it attack its true enemy, the bamboo. Okay, so I'm going to keep this brief. This is already 5 minutes worth of nonsense. But that's Christmas Part 2. Now, what was I going to show you? Oh, yeah. The distal taper. Let's do it. Boop. Lurking above. Put on the 1 mark there. Make this easier. So, it is close to 3/4 of a centimeter, it looks like. And as we go up, you should be able to see that it is, in fact, thinning out. And when we get to this tip here, you will see that it becomes 1/2 centimeter. So, from almost 2 to down to 1/2. So, that's a pretty decent amount of distal taper. But I think for being an inexpensive starter into the foray of Japanese swords,
howdy, you pathetic schmuck. You know that cheap katana won't save you from my wrath. You are gonna die this year, you stupid punk. I promise. Whoa!
There's more where that shit's coming from next year. It's on, Diablo. It's on.
Hilson, and good year, folks.